So they were strong things. And the president didn't come out. He never gave that press conference. Perhaps it's because he actually read the report and finally saw what fellow Republican Mitt Romney says he's seen tonight. Romney speaking out after reading the report, saying, quote, "I am sickened at the extent and pervasiveness of dishonesty and misdirection by individuals in the highest office of the land, including the president. I am also appalled that, among other things, fellow citizens working in a campaign for president welcomed help from Russia. Reading the report is a sobering revelation of how far we have strayed from the aspirations and principles of the founders." Caitlin Collins is out front live outside the White House to begin our coverage. And Caitlin, the president seemed all too eager to talk about the findings of the Mueller report, right? He was bragging about it, saying he was exonerated, how wonderful it all is, and then that changed.
Yeah, Aaron, we went from total exoneration to today, total BS. And that press conference he floated never materialized. But that's because as reporters started to go through this report, a pretty damning portrait of the president emerged, one that portrayed him as this habitual liar who pressured his staff to defend his lies, and that's a staff that often ignored some of the president's directives because they believed it was on the brink of breaking the law. Now, we have to keep in mind here, the president already knew what was coming out in this report because Bill Barr told reporters that both the White House counsel got a view of this redacted report and the president's outside legal team also got to take a look at it before it was released to the public, days actually before it was released to the public. So the president knew what was going to be in here, but what he didn't know was how it was going to be covered and what the media was going to focus on the most. And as is often the case with this president, it's how something is portrayed on television or in the newspaper headlines that really affects the way he views something. And that clearly was what happened here, because not only was it about the president's lies, that he was essentially caught with documents, with statements from people who worked the closest to him, it shows that he isn't essentially in control of his own staff, and that at times his staff is managing him, and that's an image the president does not like, this idea that his staff is having to control him or to restrain him, because the president often likes to say he's the one in charge and he's the one responsible for his successes. That's not the portrait that was certainly something that aggravated the president.
This video is once again sponsored by Root Car Insurance. They're a car insurance company doing it way better.
Yeah, they're also big thing. Their app, and then it tracks your driving style over the next couple of weeks, and it'll give you a profile, and based off of that, they'll be able to give you a better rate because they'll actually know whether or not you're a good driver.
So be insured with other people that are good drivers so you don't have to make up for the bad ones. And guess what? Root Car Insurance saves people on average $784 a year.
That's so insane.
Insane. That's so much money.
Changing 500.
Dude, we could get like 784 things off the Taco Bell menu.
Yeah, and eat them
without
over
of course,
only 1
2
month
weeks.
period.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So check them out.
Yeah, seriously. If you're a good driver, if you're a bad driver,
stay away.
Stay away. But if you're a good driver, if you think you're good enough to make the cut, check them out. Download their app. They're going to give you great insurance rates. It's insane.
And that is why you've seen a total change in tune from him on the Mueller report.
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. And I want to go now to Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speier of California, also a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congresswoman, great to have you with me tonight. I mean, look, the president lashing out, right, saying that it's fabricated, it's all made up, hours after he had said how great it was going to be. Crazy Mueller report, he calls it. And he's threatening retaliation. The quote, "It is now finally time to turn the tables and bring justice to some very sick and dangerous people." That's the President of the United States speaking from his official account. Your reaction?
Well, I worry about the President of the United States. He is only capable of seeking revenge from people. And he has done that historically by firing people and calling them nasty names. Don McGahn gets a profile in courage because had he followed what the president had asked him to do, Donald Trump would probably not be president today. And now he's excoriating Don McGrath because he doesn't like the fact that he told the truth. 10 times he obstructed justice. How many times do you get to obstruct justice as the President of the United States? He is supposed to be protecting the Constitution, not trampling it.
So let me ask you that, though, because on this issue, when you say 10 times obstructed justice, obviously it was a very damning portrait which was laid out. But, for example, in some of those cases, it was the attorneys for the president called the attorneys for Michael